We had to bleep a little bit because it's a family audience here.
Where do I start? Do you let your actors improvise as well as go by the script? Because a lot of that dialogue seemed very natural and organic. I was wondering what's the percentage of script versus letting these guys run loose.
Yeah, I'm lucky to get to work with such talented actors that like bring so much to the table. It would be foolish not to access that talent, and it's just really fun, honestly. Like, we get the scene that's scripted, but then we always go above and beyond it. And in some of my favorite movies, moments from the movie are improvised moments. For example, that part where Michael is looking in the mirror and saying, "You're a pimp, you're a pimp." There wasn't even dialogue written for that scene. Michael just came up with it all right there in the place, and it's still one of my favorite moments in the whole movie.
I just wanted to make my part bigger. That's my only...
You are a little bit of a pimp, too, so that kind of works out.
Pimp is not easy, but somebody's got to.
Nick, what's your relationship with Danny in the film? I couldn't quite figure that out.
Danny and I play sisters. I play his best friend. Danny he's kind of the mastermind of the whole thing. He comes up with this scheme. He wants to kill his dad and get his inheritance so he can open up a tanning salon / brothel. The American dream. And so he devised this scheme, and so he talks to me. I'm kind of like the demolitions expert, so I have to build this bomb vest. And so I'm kind of along for his crazy idea.
Had you guys worked together before, you and Danny?
Thank you. God bless you. What's that?
Had you and Danny worked together before?
Danny and I had never met before. So this was awesome because I was a big fan, and we met on the film, and we hit it off. We're both filthy and demented, so the pairing was really good. And it was funny because I had never seen Eastbound and Down when we started filming. So like halfway through filming, I was like, I'm going to watch Danny's show. So I watched the first season halfway through filming, and it totally screwed me up because in the rest of the movie I'm just like, Kenny fucking Powers, man. Like, I couldn't act in any scene with him. I just kept thinking of Kenny Powers.
Aziz, had you met Jesse before?
No, I'd never met him before. We just met when we were auditioning together, and then, a little bit before we started filming. And, it's tough because we're supposed to play best friends, but luckily we got along really well, and we were able to form a good chemistry that worked, I think.
Yeah, the chemistry looks amazing. If anybody has any questions for these guys, want to line up, we'll get to them in just a second. Ruben, I wanted to ask you, after the enormous success of Zombieland, which was a phenomenal film.
Thank you.
Was there pressure on picking your next project? Did you let that factor in at all, or what attracted you to this film?
Yeah, it was a really tough decision, and luckily I was faced with a lot of great opportunities. But when I read the script, it just was so funny and so original, and allowed so many great casting opportunities. I could just picture these guys saying these words and knew how funny it could potentially be. And I just thought it reminded me of Fargo in a weird way, which is one of my favorite movies, and I was excited to, just try something a little bit more personal and small before going big.
You seem like a guy who likes to work with ensembles versus just one or two leads.
Yeah, the more the merrier, and especially with the comedy, I think it's a good dynamic to have people playing off of each other. I like to call this a double buddy comedy because we kind of have these two pairs of friends. There's Danny and Nick, and then Jesse and Aziz, and they're kind of traveling on parallel journeys that intersect in a very potentially catastrophic way. What? Who does Michael have?
He's got his gun.
I got
some questions already.
I think we got some questions. Might as well take some. Let's start over here. Go ahead.
Aziz! Oh.
I'm familiar with your work. I used to watch Park and Rec, and I wanted to know how's the
transition. Wait, you used to watch Park and Rec?
Park and Rec? Just Park.
I just want to know.
Where did they lose you? Where did they lose you?
Where did they lose the S on Parks?
He's talking about a different show called Park and Rec that I'm not on. That's actually the straight documentary.
How was the transition from your character Tom in that show to a character in a movie such as this?
I guess what's different is with the character on a television show, you get to play that character for such a long time, and you have a lot of time to develop it. And with this film, I'm that character Chet for an hour and a half, so that's really all you have to work with, and you really have to do what you can with that time. And but since it's a complete story, you know kind of the trajectory of the character and where it's going to end up. So you know, it's just a different process. But I had a really good time doing it.
Your question?
Yeah, hi. My question's for the director. Nick, Danny, Aziz, you all are just such amazing comedic actors.
Danny's not here. I'm Mike.
I know. Danny's,
Michael.
You're great too. But,
Wow.
Okay.
how much of the,
We get confused all the time.
how much of the comedy was improv and how much of it was scripted?
Well, the script was really funny, and that's why I think everyone at this table and those who aren't here got involved with it. It was a really, really funny script, and it was a good starting point. But I would say, you know, a lot of the comedy in the movie comes from the guys' improvisations. Danny and Nick just have some conversations that weren't even in the script at all, and they just came up with it and made it up as they went along.
Having worked with Jesse before, did that help you direct him? Do you develop sort of a shorthand after you've worked with someone already?
Yeah, I mean, I love working with Jesse. He's just so talented, and it was proven, I think, with his recognition with the nomination for Social Network. But what was funny was when we were shooting this movie, like Aziz, I think you were saying, you know, it hadn't come out yet, so we didn't quite know the potential that existed. But Jesse's great to work with, and he and Aziz were terrific together. All right, let's hear it.
This movie looks great. It's nice to see something original out there instead of, you know, remakes and whatnot. My question is actually for the director. I wanted to see if he was having any interest in Zombieland 2.
Speaking of sequels,
I like how
So great.
it's like the question with this movie was great because it was original and isn't a remake. But yet, are you interested in the sequel? Remake? I mean, I love Zombieland so much, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm so psyched that audiences seem to have responded to it as well. And it would be incredible to get to revisit that world with those characters and those actors. I think it's just a question of when, you know, because it's challenging with Emma starring in, I don't know if you've heard of this movie, Spider-Man. So she's going to be busy for a little bit, and I think they're making Social Network 2. I'm not sure. But and Woody's in the Hunger Games, so, you know, like getting everybody together is a bit of a challenge these days.
go ahead, your question.
Hi, I was just asking, how many outtakes did you have during the show?
Well,
That's a good question. What's the DVD going to look like?
that's a great question. I mean, there's so much funny stuff, and I like a really short movie. And so, in the process of making this movie, which is only 83 minutes, like tight and giving it that energy that the bomb kind of requires, a lot ended up, as they say, on the cutting room floor. But the DVD is full of amazing additional scenes, as well as alternate takes for what made it into the movie. But do you guys, out of curiosity, is there anything that you can think of that didn't make it in? That I know Pena has a love-making scene that didn't make it in the movie. That's incredible. That will be on the DVD.
A little bang session.
There was a bang session. Yeah.
I had an outtake where I went to Avatar World.
There's an outtake where there was a whole scene in the film where I play a gorilla that talks that wants to go to TGI Fridays.
No, I think
we had to cut it because it's in a
no, I
different
think that's Zookeeper you're thinking of.
No, that was in this too.
No, I'm pretty sure it was in Zookeeper. Not
I
in this
remember
film.
filming that. I remember filming it.
I'm pretty sure that wasn't you.
That was me. It'll be on the DVD. You'll see what I'm talking about. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He didn't. Oh, because you were on set the whole time. Oh wait, no, you weren't.
Just trying to help. Were these guys constantly cracking up on set, or were they able to hold their stuff together in the face of what is some pretty powerful comedians?
Nick, how was it acting opposite Danny?
I was laughing the entire time. I'm so awful. I laugh constantly. I mean, everything. I just forget that I'm in the movie, so I'll just be watching somebody act, and then I just laugh, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" I always forget that. So Danny was amazing, and I just was like this audience for Danny, and there were times when yeah, Ruben had to remind me that I was shooting a movie.
I remember when Pena was opposite you, Nick, like,
oh my God.
Pena couldn't keep it together and he kept saying to Swardson, turn around, I can't do this if you're looking at me, turn around.
Michael and I became friends on the movie, and he's such a great actor, and I had these intense scenes, and when someone's acting intense, it makes me laugh harder. They're acting intense, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know, it just makes me laugh.
Yeah, but then you're giving me this face, like, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to not laugh. He's like, it's okay.
Just laughing, I'm sorry. But, yeah, I've been thrown off sets of movies because I laugh too much, but whatever.
Was Nick the worst? Is he the weakest link?
I don't want to name names, but yes.
Michael, I couldn't quite make out from what we saw, but what is your role in the film?
Oh, were these guys like hired? Well, I guess they conned Jesse Eisenberg to rob a bank to get $100,000 to pay me to assassinate Danny's not real dad, but his dad.
Since you're the hitman to take out the...
I'm the assassin.
I got you.
The satanic Hispanic.
Do you strictly want to stay in the genre of comedy, Ruben, or are there other kinds of films you want to make? Because obviously, visually, your stuff is always very interesting, and it seems like you're attracted to funny stuff.
Actually, I'm in pre-production on a movie now called Gangster Squad, which is a period action movie, gangster movie set in Los Angeles in 1949. It's about this Jewish gangster named Mickey Cohen, and Sean Penn's playing Mickey Cohen, and Josh Brolin and Ryan Gosling are the two lead cops that have to bring him down. Michael Pena is a member of the Gangster Squad, as are Giovanni Ribisi and Anthony Mackie, and the cast is pretty phenomenal, and yeah, it's definitely not a comedy.
Sounds like a real dud, Ruben.
I think Aziz is a little upset because he's not in the film, that's all.
There weren't a lot of Indian Jewish gangsters.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out a way to get Jesse in that movie too, and it just...
These are good luck charms.
Yeah.
Too much.
A really nervous gangster. I guess we could rob
Some of the action stuff in this looks pretty harrowing. Did you have any mishaps while you were shooting? I mean, that car crash sequence is pretty intense. Is that CGI, or was that actually...
That was one take. They did that. That was a good start.
Perfect in one car?
That wasn't even supposed to happen. That car just hit us. Luckily we were rolling. No.
I mean, the flamethrower, Nick, how'd you feel using this flamethrower? That was pretty scary.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, it's exciting when you read the flamethrower on the page, and you're like, yay, a flamethrower, and then you get to set, and you're like, get me the fuck out of here. I mean, it was awesome, but it was scary because they just kept telling you, like, what can go wrong with a flamethrower, and, like, worst case scenarios. And then Danny would just laugh and then throw things at my flamethrower on my back, like, hoping for me to explode and burst into flames, because he'd think it'd be a good outtake. So, yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking.
But that was a real flamethrower that really shot 25-foot flames out, and that's Nick really shooting it. So that was pretty intense.
Pretty boss.
The car chase for me was really exciting, and what's cool is, and I'm being totally serious, Jesse Eisenberg does all of his own driving in the car chase. He's like an incredible stunt driver, which... I don't know, that wouldn't be the first thing that comes to mind when I look at Jesse Eisenberg, but he's like a phenomenal driver. And Aziz, you want to talk a little bit about like being in the car with him during some of that stuff?
Yeah, it was really fun because what they did after the bank robbery, there's a car chase, and everyone else in the chase, is the police officer and all those other cars are all stunt drivers, and it's me and Jesse really driving. And so, you know, Ruben really wanted which I thought was a cool choice to kind of make the car chases feel like, you know, older films and not rely on green screen and stuff as much. And yeah, I think it made the scene look good. And yeah, Jesse did a great job, I thought.
Were you scared at all?
I wasn't too scared. I mean, truth be told, I wasn't really sitting in the car. It was Jamie Foxx, and they CGI'd my face over and over. It was really cool that he did that. He thought he was going to get a cameo. Nope.
Was Jesse kidding recently in an interview where he said he actually followed a pizza delivery guy around for research for the role?
That's
You really did that?
Yeah, really true. We shot at this place called Vito's Pizza, which it has the same name in the movie. And in preparation for his role, Jesse went along with this guy on ride-alongs, and like some people do when they're training for cop movies, they go and train with the police. Like Jesse went and trained with the pizza delivery guy, and I just like can't fathom being in. We shot in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and like ding dong, you open the door and like it's Jesse Eisenberg with your pizza. Like it just but I thought it was cool that he like really wanted to get into the role, and that's honestly why I think this movie is so good. Is that he like really plays the reality of the character and the situation in a way that elevates the comedy and allows these guys to be so funny because he's so committed to the reality of the world and the character.
Well, even in Zombieland, you sort of kept us rooted in whatever reality you set for yourself so that it didn't get so ridiculous that you stopped believing in the characters, and that's probably part of what you want to do to keep it funny, right? Yeah,
I mean, Jesse has a unique talent, I think, in his ability to play the real but allow the funny to still survive. Like if you were to have a totally serious actor playing the reality of a bomb on your chest, it just wouldn't be that fun. But he's able to play it real but also allow for the laughs to happen. And I guess that's just my taste. I prefer a more grounded, kind of realistic world, and those are the types of movies that I'm attracted to.
Do you guys as actors find it's hard to find good comedy scripts specifically? I know scripts are hard to come by, but especially funny stuff. It seems
Yeah,
like...
I mean, I really only done 2, so that's probably why you guys don't know who I am. Observer Report was my first one, and then this one, and then I just finished another one. But I've been acting for a long time, and I've only done 3.
Nick, what about you?
I mean, stuff that's, original. I mean, I was psyched to do this movie just because it was, an action comedy, and I didn't have to play like a flaming gay prostitute on roller skates like Reno Mold. So it was refreshing to kind of break out of that mold. But I think the main thing about this movie is it's hard to find a script that's that original, and also someone like Ruben who's such a great director, and he's so savvy with comedy. Like, he's a genuine comedy fan, and also has a great visual style. So to find those two things, and I mean all those elements together is so rare. I mean, like, he let us do our thing, and then he directed and made this kick-ass movie around it. And to me that was like really refreshing to be involved in something that I knew was going to be visually awesome and be super funny too. So that was pretty cool.
Aziz, did you know when you read the script that it was going to be funny, that it would work?
Yeah, when I first read it, I thought it was really funny. I don't read many things that I like, and so that was one of the things I liked, and I kept it in my head, and then I heard that Ruben was directing it, and I thought he would do a great job, and then, all the things fell into place with the rest of the cast, and Ben Stiller and Stuart Kornfeld are producing it, so it seemed like a pretty safe bet for a movie to do.
Do you find when you're on the set, sometimes something will play funny while you're watching it there happen in front of you, and then when you go back and look at the footage, when you start to put the movie together, it's a completely different story?
This may sound like a lame thing to say, but that didn't happen with this movie. Like, everything was so funny, and I think the funniest stuff made its way into the finished film. I've heard of that happening, but we got lucky on this one. Everyone's so funny that we had too much to choose from.
I heard that happen on Philadelphia. It was super funny, and they got in the editing room, they're like, what the fuck is this? Bummer, dude. This was going so good. Oh boy.
Well, Ruben, I think there's a chance for everybody here to see the film, if I'm not mistaken, while they're down here for Comic-Con.
Yes, I would welcome you all to join us tonight at 8 p.m. at the Gaslamp 15. I think it's first come, first serve. We're showing the movie tonight, and we'd love for you to come see it.
Please check it out.
So 8 o'clock tonight, go to the Gaslamp, the Ready